Welcome back to another video. So the new trailer for the Dragon Age Veilguard has dropped. It already has over 1 million views, and I have watched it a couple of times, and I've also looked at some of the responses, and there are a lot of people who are excited because it's Dragon Age and they've been waiting for a new one for a long time. But I've also read some comments where people seem to be a little concerned about where this series is headed. Because when I played Dragon Age Inquisition, I remember the vibe being very, very different. And this trailer seems to be way more colorful, more vibrant, and it doesn't really seem like it has the right Dragon Age vibe to it. And a lot of people are afraid that it's going to become unrecognizable, a shell of its former self. And they're also, of course, worried that somehow it's going to be some woke garbage. And honestly, a lot of studios have been suffering the same problem because a lot of these people have noticed that when it comes to some developers being involved or some company being involved, and the ones that they're always terrified of is Sweet Baby Inc. Now, I don't know if they're actually involved. Of course, this is an Electronic Arts game, so you already need to be on your toes because Electronic Arts doesn't really have a great reputation. They've been called the worst developers in the world for years because of how greedy they are, how scummy they are, and just these games that they have brought out in the past couple of years, people were not exactly a fan. Some of them have been mediocre at best or just plain terrible. Because I remember when when it was announced, we noticed that, sure, it might be for some people, but it was definitely not for me, so I wasn't going to buy it. But when the game finally came out, a lot of people had a lot of bad things to say about it. And it turned out not to be a success at all. And it also turned out to be way different than they might have actually shown the public. But anyway, so people are worried that Dragon Age Veilguard is going to be very different than the previous installments. And I have to say, I don't really know a lot about Dragon Age because I've only played Inquisition, but I enjoyed that game, so I was actually kind of hoping for a new Dragon Age game as well. But seeing this trailer and seeing, the amount of characters that are involved, that are introduced, that are new, I've never heard of. Maybe not all of them are new, but to me, a lot of them were new. But I don't know, it just felt very different than the previous Dragon Age game that I bought and played. So I can understand why people are worried. A lot of these studios have been suffering this kind of problem where they change up the games so much that it becomes very, very different. And it makes a lot of people very upset a lot of the times. So they are afraid for obvious reasons. And I have to say, I share their worries because a lot of these studios have been performing the same way, have been working with, either bad developers or bad companies who come up with terrible ideas. And it does turn out to be woke garbage. And that is something that a lot of people are afraid of because they're pushing this narrative down our throats that nobody really appreciates. If a game or anything in the mainstream media really tries to make things happen naturally and not actually force it, then people can go with it. They can actually accept that kind of narrative because it's not pushed or forced, but more, subtly referenced or whatever. It works better that way. But it seems that these studios just won't learn and keep making the same mistakes, even though the fans are very loud and make their complaints very, very clear. But a lot of these studios just don't seem to listen, and I don't know when they'll listen. But for the sake of all the Dragon Age fans out there, I really do hope that the game will be fun, because I will buy the game eventually, but maybe on sale when it's a lot cheaper, because I will wait until it's actually released to see what it's going to actually be like. I want to see what people honestly have to say about it, and not people who review bomb it, just because they see some things they don't like and they just review bomb it. No, I'm looking for actual honest reviews that I can say, okay, you know what, that I can either get behind and I'll give the game a shot, or oh, now I'm really, really worried, that doesn't sound very good, so maybe I should hold back. we saw the trailer, and there's also this very short gameplay teaser. I don't know why it is so short or why they would show off a gameplay teaser, but from the less than 30-second clip that I saw, I mean, the game looks pretty decent so far, but honestly, it's way too soon to tell. I know it's coming in fall 2024, so they're probably very far in the project, but things are still subjected to change all the time. And when it comes to EA, please just don't take it at face value. Anything can happen in the last moment, and things can be very different. But I will play the teaser right here, but I can't really give you too much of the audio because I'm afraid it's going to be copyrighted in some way. But yeah, it's very short, and it's just two people who are, walking, and then it shows a little bit of the view, and then it just stops. I don't really know why they did that, but it is for anyone else out there who wants to see it. It is there. I will leave a link in the description below if you want to take a look. Excuse me. But if you want to take a look, it's down in the description box below. I guess I'll just have to wait and see until it comes out. It will be in a couple of months. So let's just hope that the game is good, that it is not woke garbage, and that these characters that are introduced and, are in the story, that the story actually just, how do I say this? How do I say it? I just hope that everything flows naturally. Yeah. I just hope that things go very well for them. But just as a warning, and I think a lot of people will say this when it comes to a lot of games, do not pre-order. Because these studios, they release these games, and a lot of times they're unfinished, and they release a day one patch, which is huge, just to make sure they can fix the major issues in the game so that it actually becomes playable. So I would suggest not to buy it immediately, but just maybe wait 1 or 2 weeks before buying it, so that all the updates that come out in the first week can come out, and then you can just hopefully enjoy the game, and it will be good. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought about the trailer and maybe the gameplay teaser if you've watched it. And I will see you in the next video.